It is Super Tuesday, but it's been a little anticlimactic. Former President Trump won big, gaining the majority of delegates in more than a dozen states, including right here in Colorado.
A good night for President Biden as well, despite an effort in Colorado to try and win away some of his delegates. 9 News political reporter Marshall Zellinger is joining us now. And Marshall, tonight isn't necessarily winner take all.
It's weird because these elections are run by the political parties with different rules than a general election. So finishing first does not mean you win everything. Colorado Republicans have 37 delegates to send to the national convention where the nominee is picked. And if you get 20% or more, you get delegates like both names here. Statewide, former President Trump and Nikki Haley have both more than 20%. So Trump will earn more delegates. So yes, he wins Colorado, but he does not get everything Colorado has to give. On the Democratic side, President Biden will get everything Democrats have to give. There are 87 delegates to go to the national convention to pick the Democratic nominee for president, and Biden will get all 87, because on the Democratic side, you need 15% of the vote to get a delegate. And in a very distant second is non-committed delegate, which would send a delegate to the convention to vote for no one, not even Biden. There was a late, organized effort by Denver Democratic Socialists and the Colorado Palestine Coalition to get people to vote non-committed. Basically a protest against Biden because he hasn't been able to get a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict. I asked one of the protest voters if voting non-committed today still means that she would vote for Biden in November.
In November, I will choose not to vote, and that in itself is a protest vote. I will turn in a ballot that says I'm not voting for either candidate. And then what will happen is one party or the other will win, and they'll blame people like me for not winning. But they don't have anyone to blame but themselves. We've been very clear on what it's going to take to earn our vote. And if they're not willing to do that, then I'm not willing to vote for them.
Getting back to how delegates are awarded, it's confusing because the results are done statewide and by congressional district. For instance, Nikki Haley in this purple area of Denver, she is leading Trump in Congressional District 1. That's why that's shaded in purple, and they'll both get delegates for that congressional district, but Haley will get a little bit more, just like Trump will get more than Haley for winning all of Colorado. All these purple counties are the ones where Haley slightly leads Trump, if it's any consolation to the Haley supporters.
Okay, Marshall. So it's the primary caucus, not really one or the other.
And
it
sounds like
the
a
same thing
caucus
in
to me.
Vermont, where Nikki Haley won.
Right. There are 17 delegates to be dished out in Vermont. Nikki Haley won the state. So I believe she gets 9 for winning the state, but then just like I described, you divvy up the state into the congressional districts. I think that may be how they do it in Vermont. So Trump will still get some delegates in Vermont, but Nikki Haley will get more. And again, Nikki Haley won Vermont, Donald Trump won Colorado, but they split delegates because we've just taken the caucus, the confusing caucus math, and brought it into our living rooms for the primary.
To make it even more confusing.
Yes.
Yes, all right. Marshall, thank you. Students at the University of Denver held a bit of a watch party tonight for Super Tuesday. Some of those students traveled to the Iowa caucuses back in January with a group from their class taught by political science professor Seth Maskett. He tells us he plans to teach tomorrow about who runs political parties these days.
I used to say it was like elites, meaning like it was, donors and office holders and people in DC and things like that who just sort of confer with each other and make decisions. And to some extent that's still true, but it may be changing in the era of Donald Trump, where it seems more like it's a lot of, grassroots. It's activists, it's people at the local level who seem to be steering things and the rest of the party trying to catch up with them.
While the students may have enjoyed some election night pizza, many of these students say they were actually drawn to the event by the politics themselves.